All right, so what it do? Welcome to another one for Al Cuerpo Boxing to the Body. So let's get with it. Let's talk some boxing. Let me do a quick shout out, and may he rest in peace, to the great, marvelous Marvin Hagler. Amazing southpaw, amazing switch hitter. I mean, if anything, I wouldn't even call him southpaw and orthodox. I would just say like he was a balanced out fighter, you know. And it's actually funny because when I was a young gun myself, man, I actually did a bit of karate back in the day. Um, Quick story, man. The reason why I got out of it quick, I told my mom, like, nah, I ain't down for this because I got kicked in the groin and it was one of the most excruciating pains that I remember in my life. And I was about maybe 10, I was like 10 or 11 or something like that. Yeah, 10, 11 maybe. But got kicked in the groin. And back then, when you're a youngster, you're a practitioner, and you're learning the art of mechanics on striking. Man, there's a lot of mistakes happen. And when you're in the world of kicking, like nah, man, it's like I'm not pro kicking, man. As far as striking, forget kicking, nah, man. So I'm always gonna be against to kicking in general. As much as I like martial arts, trust me, as much as I like the arts of karate, taekwondo, and jiu-jitsu, anything striking based and even kicking, I do like it, but as a practitioner, man, nah. It brings me traumatic memories as a kid when I got kicked in the groin more than once, man. I was like, nah, never again. Never again, man. It hurt, man. It hurt. And to be honest, I would say maybe even in those instances, like maybe in my early teens or maybe mid-teens, I may have had a little bit of residual damage from those groin kicks. Trust me, man. you know, maybe to this day, I'm like, damn. Anyways, I won't go into those type of details, but be careful, man. Be careful. Know what you're getting into, and more importantly, if you do get into it, you gotta be smart and have your groin guards. As long as you have a groin guard or just guards in general down there, protect yourselves 1,000%, man. 1,000%. Especially if you're a cat like me that likes las chicas, man. You gotta conserve and protect what's most important to you. That those testosterone builders. So, anyways, where do we begin, man? Where do we begin? So the reason why this past 2 weeks, where I've been kind of like on a Hagler binge of just highlights and classical watches, redos, rewinds, especially Hagler and Hearns, Hagler and Leonard. I hope I said Leonard, man. I didn't meant to say Hearn, man. Hagler and Leonard, my bad. You know, Hagler being the more acclimated middleweight, of course, the bigger guy than Sugar Ray. But ironically, and a parallel to Canelo and Crawford, right? Because a lot of fans were surprised that Canelo and Crawford, leading up to the fight and close to the fight, they're about the same size, right? More or less. Man, there's so many revelations that we learned about Crawford in the last 3 years, or what Bomac's been saying about, Crawford's weight, physique, whatever. I can't hate on their world if they wanted to still compete at the lower weights, right? 140, 147 for so many years. If they want to do that grind and make that sacrifice, then hey man, more power to them. If they can make the weight, you know, mad cut, because I think Crawford is a type of physique that he has a pretty high metabolism. So it's good to Crawford if he can make those lower weights, right? And I'm trying to keep this balance right now, the parallel between Hagler and Leonard. But obviously, yeah, Hagler, the more acclimated middleweight, and Leonard moving up to fight Leonard. I mean, Leonard moving up to fight Hagler. Jeez, I'm getting so confused. I apologize. And then, of course, Hagler wanted the rematch. He was waiting about 2 years for that rematch, and the poor dude just cut out and retired. But even after that aftermath, Leonard went to fight Lalonde. He fought Duran again, and he fought Hearns again, right? So you kind of have to maybe theorize a bit that Leonard didn't want that smoke, as we call it, for the rematch versus Hagler. Because to be honest with you, I think Hagler's ring IQ and his fighting ability, man, fighting ability. That machismo. I think he would have figured out Leonard in the rematch, and then given Leonard how even like went out with like well, what's his name? Camacho, and before Camacho, who was the guy that Abel Sanchez trained? I keep forgetting all these names. Um Jeez. Remind me. I'm gonna remind myself in a bit. Terry Norris. Gosh, yeah, memory, man. B12, guys, B12. So like what happened with Norris and then Camacho even before that, like you could see that maybe Sugar Ray was slipping a bit after that Hagler fight, you know? And even Hagler was showing some badass uh, uh, switch hitting ring IQ adjustments against Leonard, just going forward, right? So I like the parallel when we're comparing Canelo and Crawford. And for a lot of casuals and newbies that don't even understand this context, why it's important, guys, I'll say it again, man. And shout out to Hagler because Hagler in that times, and this is why I empathize Hagler, guys, because he's gone, guys. May he rest in peace, but Hagler was gone. But Hagler, in that time, guys, he cried about the politics in boxing. So now you understand now today, Netflix commentary for Canelo Crawford. Skipper Kelp, man. Who was Skipper Kelp, guys? Right? It was Team USA, pro Crawford against Canelo Alvarez. And that is the parallel to what Hagler was talking about the politics. That they wanted to give the shine to Leonard, maybe because of the Olympics, right? The gold medal. Leonard was more of the moneymaker. So pro Team USA wanted that, right? And maybe Hagler felt offended by that because Hagler too was an American, right? Hagler repped the game. So keep that in mind, right? I mean, Hagler with Durant, Hagler with Hearns. Hagler wanted that respect, guys. And Hagler probably in his mind felt that he deserved that rematch. Another payday against Hagler, but against Leonard, but Leonard didn't want that, right? And so again, about the politics, guys, the scorecards. Old school, man, like Lou Filippo. Lou Filippo, if I'm pronouncing that correctly, man. Old school practitioner and became a judge later in the game. Was once a fighter. Hence, fighter, guys, fighter. So you could see why maybe he was biased towards Hagler. And some of you might say, well, just because you're biased and you want more of a slugging, more of a brawler type of esque, that you need to be more transparent. That you shouldn't just give it to him, you know? I get it. Yes, it's 50-50 as far as debate with that. But again, he was like the only guy that gave it to Hagler. And even back then, look at it, guys. Look at Moretti and look at Lou Filippo's scorecards, right? 118 to 110, and then what? A 113 and 115. Very different in scoring, right? Again, guys, preference. Preference. Was Lou Filippo wrong for giving it to Hagler, comparing it to Dave Moretti? And I hope I got that correctly. If Moretti was the one that had it that wide for Leonard, right? Preference, guys, preference. You know? And just so you guys know that I'm not like just making it up and why I like to even bring up karate or taekwondo. Guys, in karate, we even get switch hitting in karate. Oh man, karate's nice. Don't give me karate is nice. In any martial art on a striking stance, that's very bladed stance, right? That karate is. Or taekwondo, very bladed stances. But I kid you not, even in those arts, you can switch hit. I love switch hitting. I'm a pure switch hitter myself. All right, you could switch it in that, and in those martial arts, everything is about timing, point accumulation, attacking to the body with a power punch down the pipe. And that's why I even said I rooted for Crawford in order to beat Canelo, you got to attack the body, and he was doing that, either across down the pipe or just jabbing down the pipe to the body. Gain points. Hence, guys, karate, taekwondo, those martial arts. But I kid you not, even in the martial arts of karate and taekwondo, you can press forward, man. You can press forward. You got the perimeter line. If you go out, okay, they reset it, but you can literally pressure a guy coming forward. All right. Now, obviously, the stances in boxing and the martial arts are different, right? I get it why some guys like Haney more, or they like Shakur Stevenson, or maybe why they might like more stances, right? I like to say rudimentary because it's not fluid. It's not fluid. Hagler is a more fluid fighter switch hitter than Crawford or Whitaker. If we're talking about southpaw, forget Shakur Stevenson. No, no, no. If we're talking about pure fighting, fluidity, and the love of, let's say, MMA, mixed martial arts, the fluidity to fight and to switch it, that was marvelous Marvin Hagler. That's probably why he's considered one of the best switch hitters because he was so natural. All right. You could just step into stance. Let me repeat that. Let me repeat that. Sorry. With Hagler, you could just step into stance to switch it. Not so much, being in a squared up stance and just switching with mechanics. Nah. Marvin Hagler, look at his highlights in his fighting. That's why I'm teaching my boy. The most balanced thing you can do in combat fighting is learn your power with both sides of your body. Know your power with your left hand and your right hand. When you master that throughout the years, you're gonna be a more fluid switch hitter, and you'll be able to walk forward non-semi bladed stance, non-fully bladed stance. You can just be fluid walking forward and let your waist movement do the mechanics, as we saw Hagler. Hagler could like leap in, you know, he could leap into a shot and then and for many they would be out of balance, but Hagler would know how to compensate that. He could improvise. So when you leap into a shot, then you can switch up on the follow-up. Like the mechanics are very easy. For those of you that practice it, you know what I'm talking about. All right. So again, guys, what am I getting at as far as like the politics? Again, guys, preference. Hagler didn't get benefit of doubt. Canelo didn't get benefit of doubt. Right? Again, guys, Canelo Alvarez was the undisputed 168 champion. The round that pissed me off the most in all the rounds was round one. Canelo in this adjustment, all he has to do is be more active. I don't want to see a Canelo that starts off slow. That's probably been it's a victim of his own circumstance because Canelo likes to start late. He likes to start the engine late, probably anywhere five past, fifth round and above. Don't do that, man. Don't do that because you're not going to get benefit of doubt. Now, I was thinking about this the other day, right? This is a paradox. Yeah, Canelo does get benefit of doubt because he performs better in the second half of his fights. Forget the Bivol fight. But let me repeat that. Canelo gets benefit of doubt in the second half, the second portion of his fights. But, but, that doesn't mean that judges should or want to give Canelo benefit of doubt. And that's what happened with Canelo and Crawford, and that's what happened with Hagler and Leonard. And I'll explain again. Round one, guys. Canelo in round one. I gave round one to Canelo, but at the same time, I don't mind giving it to Crawford. You know why? Because don't start off late, man. And shout out to Crawford because he took advantage of that. Again, the parallels of karate. Karate and taekwondo in the world of mixed martial arts, it's a point system in that world. It's the point system. So you're going to take advantage. Take advantage if you can score a point. You don't got to go press forward, right? Because you know the judges in boxing and the judges in mixed martial arts, they only care about points. They don't care about machismo. That's not what mixed martial arts is about in the pro level of scoring points. That's why it needs a lesson to be learned for new practitioners. Be careful with benefit of doubt. Not everybody's going to be a Canelo Alvarez in their lifetime. So Canelo Alvarez does have a special circumstance, but he gambled poorly in this fight. It's not that Crawford was the more skilled fighter than Canelo, because I believe in the rematch. We will see adjustments as we saw Canelo and Triple G too. I'm not saying Canelo's gonna beat Crawford just yet. We're not there yet, you know. But Crawford and Canelo, because they're such great fighters, we could see something different in the rematch. And make no mistake, what Canelo needs to do in the rematch is don't start off slow, man. Don't give Crawford the early start with those points. And I'll get to Crawford too in a bit. Because in this time around, in the rematch, if I want to be transparent, I would prefer Crawford to really try and knock out Canelo. Try and knock him out. Use as much ring IQ and poise and amazing defense. Be careful in your attacks and not get clipped in return. But give us something that we didn't see before and that you could stop Canelo, because that would be legendary and great for boxing if you could stop Canelo. And with Canelo Alvarez, in my opinion, as of right now, I don't even want Canelo to try and stop Crawford. He's been trying to do that, even with the Bivol thing. I think Canelo needs to slow the brakes. And the reason why is because Canelo, with these names involved, he has the most fights. He's the most war torn. So pressure fighting is probably not to Canelo's advantage at this stage of his career. That's fine. That's fine. And as I said before in previous videos, what Canelo needs to do is go old school, man. Go old school and focus just on points. You can do it. As you were trying, even with Mayweather, there were moments in Canelo versus Mayweather where Canelo was attacking the body. You know, he was spear jabbing, probing Floyd. Now believe it or not, if Canelo wasn't drained in that fight, he would have a better gas tank. I'm not saying he would beat Floyd, but he would have a better gas tank in throwing more to the body against Floyd Mayweather. And what do you get out of that, guys? What do you get out of that? Activity. Activity. It looks good to the judges. So I'm not saying Canelo would have stopped Floyd, but he would have had more attacks to the body, as Crawford did to Canelo Alvarez. Go look at my legendary punch stat. 2 hour and 20-minute breakdown of the punching styles between Crawford and Canelo. I broke it down. I showed you guys to the T on why Crawford was effective and why Canelo was effective. It's very complicated because I could do one stream about the politics of that scoring. Because I kid you not, the broadcast was not transparent, man. That was all pro Team USA and pro Crawford. I had to fight a draw again, guys. But I'm not upset with the verdict. It's boxing. It's gonna happen. I liked that fight so much. I loved the fight so much. I love this fight as much as I liked Triple G versus Canelo 2, which a lot of fans even had Triple G beating Canelo in the rematch. Or some fans had it a draw. I'm like in that same world. But why? But why? When there's no ulterior motive. Why, guys? Because we loved those fights. That's why I called those fights clásicos. You guys hear it all the time. I'm like the most consistent in the game. Canelo Triple G 2, Canelo versus Crawford, instant clásicos. If you're a fan that's saying you don't want to see a rematch between Canelo and Crawford, then you have an ulterior motive, or maybe you're a casual, you don't really know the art of boxing, but you want to see that style again. It was great for boxing. It was great. At the most you can give Crawford in that fight was like a 7-5. You know? I had it a draw, but again, guys, for me, round one kills me. Round one kills me because let it be a lesson learned that they're not going to give you benefit of doubt at this stage of the career. It's kind of like post Pacquiao, you know? They're not going to give you benefit of doubt. And what I mean by Pacquiao, you could say like Pacquiao Barrios, for example. Oh man, those things bother me. It bothers me because you can go any direction with it. You could say maybe they wanted to pass the torch to Barrios, or maybe the PBC wanted to do some more pack fights and they thought a draw would be good for boxing. Or how the judge. It's complicated, guys. It's complicated. But at the very least, what we should have gotten was the Pacquiao and Barrios rematch. Canelo and Crawford, the rematch needs to happen because it's good for boxing. I want to see what either fighter can do. If, for example, for the ulterior motive guys in the diehard Crawford fans, if you guys are saying, and I've heard it many times, that guys are saying, "Oh well, Crawford almost stopped Canelo." Okay, if that's great. If you really believe that, and you think that Crawford is going to have a better chance in the rematch, well, logic would tell you that in your view, Crawford will stop Canelo. So you're contradicting yourselves. You're saying I don't want to see the rematch because Crawford schooled Canelo or Crawford almost beat Canelo. Well, don't you? Crawford's the older guy. He's the older guy, guys. guys. He's the older cat. So in theory, you would want to see Crawford try and stop Canelo Alvarez being older, right? Let's not get soft here, guys, man. This is why I want Triple G to get back in the game. If Pacquiao was still fighting, there's no reason why Triple G can't still fight. Or as I always say in my other videos, and why you guys know me, I'm a big B-Hop fan, because B-Hop, true All-American, old school practitioner, and I mean literally old school, fighting a Beirut Shumanov, Kovalev, and then fighting a Joe Smith Jr. in his 50s, guys, in his 50s. Come on, man. Let's not get soft here. I don't like it when fans talk about old and Pacquiao or Crawford or Adonis Stevenson or Badu Jack or Better Be. Oh, they're old or Triple G. Oh, they're old. Man, stop it, guys. Stop it. Shout out to George Foreman and, as I said, B-Hop. Old school practitioners. A George Foreman who at 45 years old, if I'm not mistaken, beat Moore, right? Come on, guys, man. Stop being soft. Stop being soft. So again, going back to Crawford and Canelo, I just gave you good circumstances. I want to hear you guys refute it. I just gave you guys facts about guys that have been fighting older than Crawford. The rematch makes sense. If you think Canelo's washed and old, the rematch makes sense. If you think Crawford already did it and he could stop Canelo, the rematch makes sense. Make it make sense, as they say. Right? So, I know it sounds funny, and maybe some Canelo fans or Canelo haters, you might not like this, but if Canelo wants to, he could just coast back and just score on points. Going forward and trying to wing power shots, of course it's going to tire you out, right? But now guess what, guys? Crawford beat Canelo. Maybe Crawford might be intrigued and motivated to now pressure forward Canelo Alvarez, right? Crawford felt that power. Canelo felt Triple G's power in the first fight, right? Canelo went forward. He pressured Triple G. He went true Mexican style on Triple G, as Roy Jones would tell the fans in the rematch that happened. So let's see Crawford now pressure forward Canelo Alvarez. As I said before, let Canelo just lean back and relax. Let Canelo just focus on countering, right? You exert more power being a pressure fighter going forward and winging power shots. You exert more power, of course you're going to tire out more. Let's see some adjustments. Instead of going back to Hagler and Leonard, guys. That is the reason why Hagler never got the benefit of that or the opportunity to make the adjustments in the rematch. Now you guys understand why Hagler was talking about the politics back then. Again, Lou Filippo, Moretti scorecards, or pro Team USA, pro Sugar Ray Leonard. You get it, guys. Are you understanding it? So, fans right now, fans want the rematch. Shout out to my guy Punch Drunk Boxing. He also wants the rematch. We've been talking about that rematch for a long time, for a while. I had it close. Again, I had it a draw. You know, Hagler. Imagine how Hagler felt when he saw that Sugar Ray fought Donnie Lalonde. Can you imagine how much that irked Hagler? He went beyond Hagler. He went up northbound for Lalonde's 168 strap and the 175-pound titles, right? A double whammy, getting two straps or two weights accomplishment. Then he fought Duran and then Hearns. Imagine Hagler's state of mind, man. Hagler was done dirty. Not saying Canelo was done dirty because we don't know yet what's going to happen. I do think the rematch is going to happen, right? I'm down for Crawford to fight Bivol then, right? Now, check it out. If Crawford were to fight Bivol before fighting Canelo in the rematch, I would be super happy because that's a badass fight right there. That would be like Sugar Ray fighting Leonard. Would Bivol be down for a catchweight against Crawford? I'd be down for it. I mean, I want to say, okay, I want to see Crawford try and go for 175 with Bivol for his straps, right? But some fans might be like, oh no, that's a bridge too far. Maybe Bivol should see Crawford at 168. I'm down for that too. Whatever. If Chad Donaldson did it with Andre Ward, I'm down for it too. If Daniel Alon went down for Sugar Ray Leonard, I'm down for that too. Give me Crawford versus Dimitri Bivol. I'm down for that fight. But the point is, if Crawford were to do it with Bivol, then it even gives more merit to what Canelo was trying to do on his challenges at 175. So it all starts to make sense, guys. You see the consistency, the transparency, the love for boxing, the love for logical rematches, guys. Don't get soft. Don't do yourself a disservice, especially for you non-practitioners in saying, well, Crawford is old. Guys, Triple G could still be fighting in the game. He ain't that old, man. Pacquiao's still fighting. Again, shout out to Foreman. Shout out to B-Hop. How they were doing it so late in the game. Shout out to Adonis Stevenson, who let it loose on the line for Gvozdyk to take his lineal strap, right? And shout out to Adonis Stevenson. Hope he's doing better, but he took a beating against Daniel Gvozdyk, right? Better Biev right now, late in the game. They're saying he's old. Guys, I've been saying more than anybody for months, probably a year already. I would want Better Biev to go and take Badu Jack's strap. Badu Jack was also close to 43 years old, who's a cruiserweight WBC champion. Guys. Hopefully my channel can get some steam and some light. I'll go fight on that Misfits brand on YouTube. I would love that. I would be so down for that. Pay me and I'll put on the line, and Cuerpo will go full force in the gym, and I'll train my ass off for a debut network easily, man. Just give me that 20K or 40K. I'll put all my heart into that stuff, man. You know, maybe I gotta be more pro Jake Paul, right? I just gotta, juice myself up, and as you guys know, as I always say, everybody's on the gear. But anyways, guys, I'm going on a tangent here. Shout out to Crawford and Canelo. Let's get that rematch, guys. Let's get that classical brewing. And shout out to Marvelous Marvin Hagler, who is the true all-time great switch hitter, in my opinion. Or maybe I'm just being biased in preference because I like that style. Shout out Al Cobra Boxing to the body, and I'll catch you on the next one. Peace.